Well, it's the next day. It's a Sunday, October 10th. And it's beautiful here in Southern California. Got about 76 degrees, bright sun, kind of hot working under there, but here's the old pump. Now I'm going to just inspect stuff while I've got it all apart. Look at that bearing or the gasket surface. I cleaned it off with some little sandpaper. It should be okay. Got some brake cleaner and just kind of sprayed it around with a rag and stuff, and it's cleaned off some of the filth. I guess one good thing about doing this job was I found a vacuum line with a hole in it. I don't know if you can see that, but it goes from the vacuum line goes from here. See, I replaced it with this, the intake manifold, and goes to the AZL, which is the ignition module. And researching it, it shows that it affects I think it affects the idle advance, or retards the timing, something like that. Maybe it's got something to do with a kind of a weird starting. Have to twist a key a couple times to get it to, pump up the system, and who knows. But anyways, it's never good to have a vacuum leak in any car. So now I'm just gonna start putting it back together, I guess. It's definitely a long job. You can take your time, like me. Luckily, my son's off for 3 days, so I got 3 days to get this thing back together. You can get burned out real quickly doing this. The old pump, it appears to still be good. Who knows? I mean, that's the impeller there, and it's pretty clean. Who knows if maybe when it heats up, it starts spinning on that shaft freely or something. You just replace it. 6 years old. What else? Yeah, I'll check your pulleys. So this is a bearing bracket for the fan. I don't know if it has a bearing in it, because the fan's already got a big ass bearing. Maybe it does. I asked a question. I'm waiting for a response, but it should sound like that. Yeah, I don't like that. I guess I could put it all back together, and if it really gets bad, it's not too big of a deal. Just take the shroud off, take the fan and fan clutch off, belt off, and just it's a few bolts. So it's not too hard of a job in the future. If I got to do it right now, I don't have the part, to get a new coolant tank. So that's nice. So let's continue. Make sure to pull this pump to the side like this. I thought I was going to have to undo something, but I just picked it up and it just moved. That way you can have a straight shot to put that water pump on and not losing that gasket as far as the gasket's concerned. I'm sure it's very easy to lose that when you're putting it on. It can just fall out, so I'm thinking of maybe putting something, just a couple dabs of something to hold it in, you know, like maybe a couple dabs of grease just to hold the sucker in. I'll research it. Make sure to clean the water pump bolts. I don't know what that crap is on there. Maybe I put some kind of, you'll find something because there's water around it, but put them on a wire wheel or whatever you have and get them nice and clean like that. That way they'll go in there nice and smooth. I might put a little bit of a Loctite blue on it just in case, just a little bit. Okay, putting it back in without messing up that O-ring. Virtually impossible to see if you've got it on there right, but learn that you can use coolant, put it on the O-ring, and then stick it on that water pump. It'll stay there even if you hold it upside down. And after jostling it around and everything, it seemed to be there. I don't see anything sticking out. Looks good. You've got this wonderful, horrible little rubber pipe here. So it's got a big end, or the hose. It's got a big fat end, and then it's got a smaller end over here. And what I did is I put it on the head first, and then I worked my water pump into it. Get the two easy bolts to get to. Tighten them up, but not super tight, so it's still a little wiggly. And then, oh my gosh. Your back will hurt after this. And then you've got a, God dang, it's tight. But anyways, you can see that blue. Okay, that's my socket. And I got it here. This is the bottom bolt. And it's in there. I'm turning it. And it's tightening. Okay, good. Not tightening it all the way. Look down here. Let's see if I can see the O-ring at all coming out. I don't see it. I mean, you really can't. So, one thing that I do is come on, baby, come on out of there. One thing that I do is I put tape on all my elbows. Okay, and then I put, what happened to my bolts? God, you end up losing stuff. It's just maddening. You get some of this blue tape or masking tape and put it around the head so that it sticks in there real good and it doesn't fall out. Mine fell out once and I used my little magnet to get it out. But do that so you're not always dropping it, and make sure you put a rag back in where that dipstick hole is. Make sure to put a rag over that because that could drop right into your crankcase. And then you'd be fishing. Okay, getting there. Okay. I got all 4 bolts tightened. It's gonna take you maybe half hour to 45 minutes to get it. These two on this side are they're just hard to get to. Okay, so hopefully I got, trying to look around, make sure I haven't forgotten anything, so I can probably take that rag off. I gotta remember to do that. Yeah, once you get them situated with all this combination of all this crap, then just get a long screwdriver like this and get that tape off of there so you can get these wrenches on. First tighten it up with this 1/4 inch drive, and then the final torque, because this, you just can't, it's just not strong enough. You get these on there, and I was able to get them all, 1, 2, 3, 4, all done on that. Now we can start. So the hard part's over, but still. I saw a guy on a Mercedes forum said that they wanted $1,600 to replace the water pump on his car like this. $1,600, because the guy probably did it one time and he said, I don't ever want to do that again. So I'm going to charge an outrageous price so I don't have to. because I'm sure there's other cars, you know, are a pain in the butt, but this, for some reason, something that's just right there that you can touch, takes so long to get out. You know, hey, you could take this whole mess off the intake manifold and move it aside, and I guess do it that way too, but you know, everything you touch, you end up finding weird stuff or breaking plastic or something. So anyways, let's move forward now. I think that's about it. Oh, I got to tighten these up. That little that rubber hose there is a real pain in the butt. I replaced it last summer when I did the head gasket, but it's so tight up against the manifold. I had to kind of shave it down, or I think I had to cut it or shorten it or something like that. But it's a real tight squeeze right there. I'm sure the original ones maybe were a little bit thinner, but I don't think you can get those anymore. Okay, it is now almost 5 p.m. on Sunday. I've been taking a lot of breaks, watching King Kong. So now we've got, this gave me a lot of grief. Try to get your clamps on there before you push the water pump on. I managed to get it on, but it was so tight right here, I could not get the clamp over this side here. This one's no problem, but eventually I put some grease on it, and I slid it over to this side and put some grease on it and started working it back and forth and got it to fit in the groove. Dipstick tube is in. That rag is out of there. The water pipe is on, secured right there. You might as well just loosen that thing to get it out. It's just easier. And let's see, 10 years ago was the time that I replaced the cap and rotor. I could clean it up a little bit with some paper, but it's not too bad. I've seen worse. But it's okay. I got to take the valve cover off to tighten the head bolts. This is the upper timing cover, and there's a little gasket, a rubber seal that's kind of long, about that long, and that's where they are known to leak from. And the oil gets down, you'll see it right in that well right there. You see the oil it pulls up in there, and then it finds its way down there and drips, and that's what, when I found a leak, I was going, oh wow, it's coming right off the alternator down here. It's dripping off the bottom of the alternator, and it's usually this right here. So that's just a couple bolts, 1, 2, 3. Take that off. This front cover will come off, and then you either get a new seal, or the only thing that will work to reseal it, it's called Hylomar. It's blue, and they use it in race cars to do seals, but it's expensive. It's like $10 for a little tube of it. So I'm going to reseal that. The fan bearing bracket, hear that? Shouldn't sound like that. Should sound like that, not like that. Doesn't have any wiggle in it, but it's a big bearing. It's about this long, that's press fitted into this thing, and when it has bearings, ball bearings in it, I guess, and when it goes bad, I heard the bearings can fall out and it'll destroy your fan. And when it it'll like make everything go cattywampus, and so your belt drive system, everything. The fan will just be at an angle, it'll hit, it'll break the blades off. So we're getting a new one. About $80 for a cheap one. So I got to order that tonight. Wait for it to come in before I can put all of this part back together here. Next up is I'm going to get this power steering pump back in, get the tensioner back in, put the pulleys here back in, do the coolant tank, new tank, and just wait for that other part. See, there's timing marks right here. Okay, that's what you use when you want to get top dead center when you're taking the head off. Okay, so that's about it for today. Luckily, I've got time. I'm retired. Yeah, it's definitely, and when, like I say, when you're in here, just inspect everything. Look at everything. Well, it's opened up, and you'll find things that maybe you don't want to. You'll find things that are bad, need to replace. All right. So I got the tensioner is in. I'll give you a close-up so you can see how these bolts go in. There's that bracket right there, that kind of Y bracket, and it goes right on the outside of that bolt that I removed before, and same with the bottom bolt. It's kind of a puzzle. You take it out and you go put it back in, and a couple of days later you don't remember how it went in. It's still loose because I gotta leave it loose. There's that big 19mm bolt, goes all the way through it. There's the pointer right here. Should be right about this line, but when I took it off it was like right about that line. And as you tighten it, it ramps up to right here. I usually tighten it and it's like good right about, not all the way at the end, but you'll be able to feel the belt, pull on it and twist it. If you can twist it all the way around, it's too loose. You should be able to maybe twist it maybe halfway, pull on it, make sure everything's tight. I cleaned all the pulleys with a wire, just a plastic brush just to get all this crap out of here. Still waiting on this wonderful, it was about $90, $97. The bolt that comes out of this original one is a Allen. The newer ones that you buy, they're Torx, and I guess they're different or something. So it was about $9 just for the new bolt for that. I'm gonna take this thing off today. I also yesterday put on a new coolant tank. It seemed like everything went okay there. I was about 25, 30 bucks. So today I'm just gonna start here because I'm gonna take the valve cover off and reseal this. That seal I was talking about before runs all along here and back. So there's just 1, 2, 3 small Allens. Pull the rotor out, pull this plate off. It's got an O-ring, and then I don't have the shock absorber. There's the shock absorber. I guess it does something, right? Absorbs the motion of the tensioner or something like that, or keeps it steady, who knows. Anyway, so there's just 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this one here, there's one of the bolts to remove it. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think there's 6, can't really see. There's another one right here for the air pump. Get this thing out, we'll inspect it. I'll save the old one. Apparently you can get a replacement bearing, but they're pressed in. I don't have any of that stuff to do that, you know, and I don't even know where to get one. So it's just getting hard to find original Mercedes parts. They're all aftermarket. Some of the dealers, they don't even carry the parts anymore, no longer available type stuff. So you do what you can. I mean, half of this stuff that I've put on is aftermarket. And you don't know, like that coolant temperature sensor, it says Baru, right? Made, you know, Germany all over it, and then you turn it and made in China. So most of the stuff you get, you know, what are you gonna do? Anyways, I'm gonna start taking that off. Okay, so just a heads up on this. You've got this bracket right that goes right here. It holds the shock and this timing cover on. The two top bolts are the long ones. One with a little ear on it there goes here. It's short and short. Also, I forgot to mention there is a rotor adapter. It's the rotor adapter, and it's a Torx. All right, so don't forget that one too. You got to take it off if you're trying to fix oil leaks or whatever. You got to do the head. You got to take all this stuff anyways off. Valve covers off. Yeah, so there's the cover, the timing cover. I think I got all the bolts out. Yeah, I think it, trying to remember, but I'm gonna pry that thing off, I guess. Look in here at the head bolts. That'll be another video. I'm gonna retorque them because of that leak over on this side. Supposedly you're not supposed to do it, but I ran across some posts. I ran across one post where the guy did it. I do it exactly how he did it, and hasn't leaked in 12,000 miles on his. So what do you got to lose? Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna repaint the valve cover while I got it off. Just in here checking things. Got the timing chain in here, got the tensioner in there. It's a single road timing chain. I think the later models, is it the 320, W124 320? I don't know if the M104, I think it might have two road timing chains, which is good. This is all we got to work with though. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna pull that cover off. And I got it off. See, there's a this camshaft seal right here. I think I got another one. There's a spring that holds it tight. Sometimes you can reuse these, but I just knocked it with a hammer and it just dropped right out. It's so weird that there's a big hole on this side. Wonder why. I can't really see, but it looks like there's a rubber. I don't know. No, it's all metal there. You see that hole there? Or the, let's see, you got a guide pin there. That's a lower bolt. there's that big. I wonder why they did that. Yeah, it's always puzzled me. I think I went through, I can see that there's some, I probably put some sealant in there. Yeah, I put some sealant in there because I wasn't sure last couple times I've had this thing off. Why is that hole bigger than all the rest? And there's an indentation in the head right there. Compared to all the other bolt holes. I wonder what the function, why would they do that? Because the leak is usually right at this corner, right here. That's right at the corner, right there. And you can see there's oil inside that. This thing's soaked with oil. It's pretty violent because this chain here is just sloshing oil all over the place. So the inside of this cover, gets just oil all over it. It's just a crappy design, a crappy freaking design. Yeah, and there's like a little lip on this gasket that's supposed to fill this little channel right there to stop for the leak, but it never does. So I don't know. I asked the forum why is that? Am I missing something? I don't see how oil would get in there. I mean, there's no seal around here at all. I think this time I'm going to put the Hylamar all along here. Anyways, we'll move forward. At least I got the valve cover off. Yeah. Okay. Now I can get the I can get this cover off here, be able to really clean that up really good, get some brake cleaner, get it totally dry so when I put it back together, it won't leak for a while, but this is where it just leaks and then it drips down right here. I've had this little shelf here, just, after a couple of years, I felt like that much oil in it, and I guess when you turn a corner, oil sloshes, it runs down, and it runs down on top of the components down there, and it could be running all along. This thing was totally soaked in oil, this transmission coolant line. I cleaned it all off. Anyways, let's move forward. I got all the bolts loose. Make kind of a diagram like that. Piece of cardboard so I know, because some of these are different lengths from what I've read. This one won't come out. I think that one has an O-ring. Come on, baby. And it's out. I guess it doesn't have an O-ring. Yeah, you can see, oh, there goes that bolt. You can see it kind of looks like it's starting to get rusty or something. Yeah, this It's weird because I was looking on YouTube and the guy showed there was a oil or an O-ring. Huh. To inspect it some more. Let's go. Do I need to throw an O-ring and down here? I have to look at it. Other side of this is the engine block. This thing is the original Mercedes part. There is your number. There's no seal around it, so at least on the casing. You hear how noisy that is. So, yeah, if yours is noisy, just replace it, because if that thing decides to cut loose and there's no warning other than a noise, and all the bearings will fall out the back side, and then the thing gets real wobbly. The fan can take out your brand new radiator. You can punch through the hood, mess everything up down here. So this is a good maintenance thing, and it's what, 143,000 miles. That looks to be the original one. So at least we got that out. Hopefully the part will be here in a couple days and I can put this thing back together. Okay, I got a new coolant temperature sensor. It controls the auxiliary cooling fans, if I can say that word. I don't know, I'm getting tired or something. Here's the old one. Yeah, it's got a Mercedes star on it, so it's about 140,000 mile sensor. And you can test them. You test them cold and you test them warm. I just went ahead, just replaced it just for the heck of it. So it has an O-ring? No, it's okay. So you just test them from pole to pole, like from this one to that one and this one to that one there. And I was getting about 2.0 cold. The old one was about 2.4, 2.5. So, I mean, it's probably still good, but, you know, might as well. Working on the cooling system, that's pretty important, and to take it off. Only thing I had was this old Kawasaki motorcycle wrench, and it's 22 millimeter. If you have a 22 millimeter deep socket to fit over that, you can do it, but it came right out with this valve cover off. Okay, so that's one last thing I got to deal with. Well, I put it up on jack stands. I probably should have done that in the beginning. Save your back so it's a little bit higher. Got a center hydraulic jack and center beam, and two jack stands at either jack points. And block your wheel and parking brake on